Hey, what's up to everybody out there? Welcome to another edition of the Roundtable Talk. I am your host, Imani, and we are at beautiful Peacock Park in Coconut Grove. I did a few episodes here once before. This is a lovely spot I like to go to every now and then to get away. It's right near the water, which you're going to be seeing in the next episode. We're right near, a lot of the hot spots, But basically, this is basically about the history of Coconut Grove. Right now, I'm going to talk to you about my former visit to Key Biscayne, and then I'm going to talk to you about um, Coconut Grove, and then this is going to be like a three-part episode, like a three-part thing, because right now we're going to talk about Key Biscayne and Coconut Grove, and then I'm going to be walking around Coconut Grove, showing you certain areas of Coconut Grove, and in my last segment, we're going to be visiting the Barnacle, which is a state park, which I don't remember if I ever did an episode there, but it is a state park that's here in Coconut Grove. So we're right now we're just gonna get into my visit to Key Biscayne and my visit to Coconut Grove, and then we're gonna do a walk around certain parts of Coconut Grove, and then we're gonna do the Barnacle historical state park. Let's get into it. Basically, my overall, this is a video. I want to recap on my visit to Key Biscayne. As you know, Key Biscayne has a lot of historical locations in there, and not only historical, there's certain entertainment you can do out there. Key Biscayne goes back to the early late 1800s, which is nothing, as I told you in the previous videos when I visited. When Key Biscayne first opened up, it was only accessible by boat, meaning that anybody who came through only can be accessible by boat. We did visit Bill Baggs Cape Florida State Park, and we did visit the historical Virginia Key Beach Park, which I did do several episodes there. We were supposed to visit Crandon Park, but due to the nature of my time frame, and I couldn't visit at the present time. But Crandon Park is only historical for one reason. It was where they housed the first zoo in Miami before it moved to its current location. And as I told you, Bill Baggs was a news editor for the Miami News and newspaper, of course, and he helped to create, Bill Baggs Cape Florida State Park. And it's also historical because remember that the slaves used to go to Cape Florida to get on boats to go to the Bahamas, to flee away to the Bahamas to escape from slavery. So it was like it was part of the Underground Railroad, I should say. And also Virginia Key Beach, as we mentioned, is a beach that basically was for the only colored beach in South Florida. I know there are a lot of cities and states and other cities and states that was historical for colored beaches. If you have a beach, whether it's in Georgia, California, New York, Mississippi, wherever it's at, and it's a park that's historical for only colored people can go to, you can email us, you can comment and let us know, give us some feedback. But historical Virginia Key Beach was where the black people, colored people, could go to in Miami. At first, when they opened up the park, it was only accessible by boat. So as you know, at that time, I don't know, and it doesn't have any info because I've done a lot of research about if there was a boat that you had to pay to get on to get to, because a lot of colored people back in the day wasn't as rich as they is now, or wasn't as wealthy as they is now, because a lot of black people, colored people back then, you very rarely had successful colored people back then. I did do my research. The Rickenbacker Causeway, which is the bridge that connects the mainland of Miami to Key Biscayne, opened up in 1947. So you have to realize that before 1947, you can only access Key Biscayne by boat. And one of the hot spots in Key Biscayne, of course, is Miami Sea Crown, which we didn't get to go to, and we'll probably do on a future show. That's another hot spot that people go to. So you can imagine before 1947 how hard it was for black people of color to access the only beach that was for colored people. So it was kind of hard. The beach closed in the early 80s. The beach Virginia Key Park. If you looked at the episode There you can see information about it. My previous episode that we visited the beach. I did a 2-part episode, and then I did a follow-up episode, because the follow-up episode, when I did my research, it said that on the weekends there are free train rides and carousel rides on the historical carousel and the historical train. But apparently, when I went to do my research, it didn't. And actually, after I did the follow up show, I actually found that there was more park in there. I walked the whole park after I got off the episode with y'all. After I did the episode with y'all, when I wanted to go out there to look for the carousel and the train rides, there was more parkland than the ones that you see on the video. So I actually walked the whole park. It took me almost maybe an hour or so more to walk that whole park, because once you pass the train and the carousel area and you keep going out, there's more beachland, and the beachland is more bigger than what you saw in the video, because there's an actual beach area where they have lifeguards. The city of Miami called their lifeguards ocean rescue, because I didn't really know that the city of Miami had lifeguards, because most of the city of Miami parks are basically regular parks. They don't have beach parks. Virginia Key Beach is the only beach park that the city of Miami has. You know, the county has beach parks, which is of course Hollover and other, and then you have Miami Beach with their own parks and stuff. But the city of Miami don't really have beach parks, and this is one of their beach parks, and it's called Ocean Rescue because they do have actual lifeguards on duty. If you go further, I would say north to the park, or further north, because we was on the southern end of the park where the carousel and the train ride. But if you go to the northern end of the park, I did that trail, and that trail was like long, and you know, maybe I'll do another episode when we go access to it, because there was a big parking lot where a lot of cars can park, and there was like a picnic areas, and there was a beach area. There was a lot in there, so it was a lot at Virginia Key Beach. There was a lot more to see there, and there was a lot more trails, and there was a lot more beach areas than what we saw. And I kind of figured that, because I said in the previous episode I did that they approved they're on hold to approve 50 to 100 small homes for the homeless to be placed on Virginia Key Beach. And I'm like, where they're gonna put it at? Because the beach doesn't look as big as I thought it was. But I did notice when I did the first 2 episodes, there was nature trails throughout Virginia Key Beach Park, but I didn't do the nature trails because of the nature of, the time framing, and I didn't want to go out too far. But then when I did the follow up and I did it, and then after the follow up, I said, let me do the nature trails. And I did the nature trails. I said, oh, this is a lot more than what I expected. So then I said, I'll just give you a recap on that and stuff like that. So it was actually pretty amazing to do a follow up, because the nature trails, if you park, but see, there's 2 entrances, but only one entrance that open, because there's a south entrance and a north entrance. The north entrance is actually closed because it's like they don't have a booth there, because the north entrance doesn't have a pay booth, meaning that the south entrance has a booth where if you're coming by car, you have to pay to park there, because you have to pay to park there, because most parks, if you have a vehicle, you have to pay to park there. So the other entrance is closed, so people have to access the park through the south area. So, and they take a little road that goes down, and then they have parking. You park wherever you want to park, and then you can either go through one of the trails, and they also have like a little water bridge, where you can, like they have like a little pond or canal, where the little water, and you can walk over the little bridge. It was kind of like where I was when I went to the park in North Miami. Arch Creek and all that, when they had the little bridge and stuff, kind of when I went there. So it was kind of nice. It was nice. I enjoyed it. I loved it. It was kind of nice. The time frame, I had to rush because, it started raining, and it was raining. After I did the show, it started raining a little bit. It wasn't raining as bad, like the rain was coming down, but I saw the clouds, and then it rained. So I had to stop for a minute and sit under one of them little tiki huts or whatever you want to call it. I had to sit there for a minute till it stopped raining. Then eventually I started back walking and stuff like that, and I did the whole walk and it was beautiful. The whole thing was beautiful. So if you ever want to visit Virginia Key Beach, their website I believe it's Virginia Key Beach Park.net. If you want to, I've seen it on one of the signs. They may have changed it. Or just Google it. It's a great place to go to. It's historical. It's fun. You can rent out the cabins, like I said. You can. Somebody actually did rent out the cabins when I actually went to go do a on the follow-up show, and I walked through the cabins. There was like a group of people that actually had one of the cabins rented out because they was having like a little party there, and it was fun. It was nice. It was great. So I enjoyed there, and then I walked through, and a lot of people, and it was fun. It was fun. It was great. So if you ever in Key Biscayne, there are four places you need to check out. You need to check out, of course, Miami Sea Aquarium, which is an aquarium that's set here in Miami. Historical Virginia Key Beach Park, which is the park that was only for colored people back in the 50s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. Of course, you have Crandon Park, which is also another great park. It's not really historical, but it was historical because it housed the first zoo that was in Miami. And then you have the historical Bill Baggs Cape Florida State Park. So overall, my experience with Key Biscayne was great. And that doesn't mean I'm not going to visit anymore, because of course I'm probably going to go to Miami Sea Aquarium sooner or later, and of course I want to do an episode there. So it was great. It was fun. It was my overall fantastic, and I loved it. And it was great. And now we're here in beautiful Coconut Grove. This is one of the spots I like to come to. If you've ever seen previous episodes, I've did episodes in this park. This is Peacock Park, I believe one of the historical parks, because if you Google it, they have several parks. They have a Kirk Monroe Park, which is Kirk Monroe, I believe, is one of the sons of Commodore Monroe, which we're going to see in part 2 of visiting Coconut Grove, because we're going to go to the Barnacle, which is a state park, which is south of here, if I'm not mistaken, and we're gonna walk that way and we're gonna see it and stuff like that. Basically, yeah. So what it is basically Coconut Grove is one of the first neighborhoods in the city of Miami, because the city of Miami was incorporated in 1896. And Coconut Grove is one of the oldest neighborhoods here because it housed a lot of things and a lot of and it's also historical because a lot of videos, TV shows, and a lot of film and television was filmed out here. I was looking at, there is a balcony that if you ever look at the video Careless Whisper by George Michael, he's singing on a balcony, or he's standing on a balcony of a condo or a building in Coconut Grove, of course. Of course, there was, Bad Boys. There's episodes. They were chasing somebody through Coconut Grove. Of course, there's probably several scenes that you can see probably in Miami Vice, because Miami Vice, of course, is a TV show that was aired that was for Miami Vice. So you're gonna probably see that. It was a lot that I've seen, and I was like, wow, there's a lot that you've seen. There's a lot of people who are from Coconut Grove, of course. Commodore Monroe, who you're gonna know about, and see his house and everything. And there's a lot of historical places. To the left of me is the Miami-Dade Public Library. At that time, it is now the Miami-Dade Public Library. And where his house is a historical building that used to be the Women's Club of Coconut Grove. I'm going to take you through a walk through that too. And next to the library is the burial site of Monroe's, I believe, first wife, if I'm not mistaken, because he did marry again. He's from apparently New York, and I believe that's his first wife that's buried next to it. You're gonna see it when you're gonna read more about it there. And basically there are a lot of historical other areas. That's it. The library, I love the library because it's historical. It's not a modern day library where you see they redid everything. It's in a historical place. It's something great. something good. So there are people that come here. We're gonna go walk by the water. You're gonna see by the water. Basically, when I do the tour of Coconut Grove, we're gonna start from here where I'm at recording, and then we're gonna head and do well, we're not gonna do the whole Coconut Grove. We're just gonna do the main parts, and we're gonna finish off at the Barnacle, and then Barnacle is gonna be the part two, and then we're gonna go from the Barnacle to and continue on there. Basically, but Coconut Grove is, if you're ever in South Florida area, if you're ever in Miami, this is one of the places where you're gonna. The nightlife is incredible. I haven't been to the nightlife in years here, but there's a movie theater that's here. I visited a few of the restaurants here. I've walked here several times. I've walked the neighborhood, and it is phenomenal. Not just for its historical, not for the history of Coconut Grove, but it also sits by the water. So if you go into the water, it's a lot. Also to the left of me, if you go further down, it's the city of Miami City Hall, where the city hall resides at is where the former Pan American airplane station was, where the airplanes used to come, because it's the city of Miami City Hall sits right on the water. So, and there's a lot of restaurants over there as well. I actually was on a trolley, because there's a trolley that takes you here through Coconut Grove. It's a free trolley, and I actually passed through the city of Miami City Hall, because they're and it actually that's where the Pan American seaplanes used to be at and stuff like that or whatever, and there was housed there, and it's great. It's an overall experience if you come here. We're going to visit the Barnacle House, which is the Commodore, which is the boat, and it's a state park as well. This is because there are basically, how many state parks there is? There are 3 state parks in Miami. We've already visited the Oleta River, which was the first state park we visited in the county. We visited the other week, last week of course, or the week before, Bill Bass, Cape Florida, and now we're visiting the Barnacle, which is the last state park that is in South Florida. Now this is the smallest of them all. I would say Bill Bass will probably be the largest one out of them all, and then comes Oleta River, and then the Barnacle. The Barnacle is real small. Now I'm gonna tell you like this: the Barnacle used to be a big, but as you can see around the Barnacle, they built a lot of residential and commercial developments around the Barnacle, so you can actually do it. And there's a lot behind it. And Camp Biscayne, which was a place where he used to was I believe a hotel back in the early ages, that there now is like an apartment, condo complex and stuff like that. So a lot of places around here are historical that's been turned in. You had the Peacock Hotel, and stuff like that. Mayfair in the Grove was a shopping thing, and also Coco Walk is a shopping thing. There's a lot of things that are out here that back in the 90s and the early 2000s was the spot to be at in Coconut Grove. Now you have a lot of mom and pop-up restaurants that are coming in, restaurants that are not like chain, like Burger King or McDonald's. You have a lot of these mom and pop restaurants that are coming up, which is not bad and which is okay, because Coconut Grove is basically main for that. There's a lot of history behind it, and a lot of these places that are used to be historical are turning into restaurants and buildings, and stuff like that. And a lot of these places that used to be are now either demolished or they've been gone. If you want to know more about the history of Coconut Grove, you can Google it. You can also there are videos about it. There's things like that. You can also Wikipedia it, because that's how I know that there was a lot of in entertainment, there was a lot of video filming and stuff that was in Coconut Grove, because Coconut Grove is one of the places that you want to visit that has a lot of trees, a lot of that's near the water, and you can take a lot of it and say, wow, this is like history of Miami. There's a lot of history areas. Like Coconut Grove, downtown Miami, Overtown, Liberty City. There's a lot of history. Key Biscayne has a lot of history. To a fact. And it's basically one of them places. You know, I'm actually sitting on a bench that is like kind of slooping to this side, so it's kind of like it's kind of slanted, because I'm under a tree because it is hot out here, of course. So it's kind of slanted. So if you see me moving constantly, that means because, it's kind of slanted. Like if I put my drink down, it's not going to boom, but if I could put it further down, it may, or whatever. But yeah. And Peacock Park is historical as well, too. It's one of the parks, and Kirk Monroe Park. I passed by there too, which is, they have a tennis center at Kirk Monroe Park, but it's named after, I believe, one of his kids. And stuff. As we go to the Barnacle Park, I did do a video inside of the house because there are tours that you can go inside the house. But by now, I mean, we're not going inside the house because we're not going to do a tour inside the house. And I don't know, since COVID, I don't know if they're allowing people inside the house. But the video didn't, it was on one of my other devices that I had years and years and years ago. So now the device I don't have anymore, so there's nothing, but we will be looking at the house, and we will be looking at the boathouse and stuff like that. And I will be giving you a tour of the main part of Coconut Grove, meaning the areas that are most frequently, because as you know, Coconut Grove does have a urban area. I'm not gonna say ghetto because that's too ghetto, that's too you know blackish to say, or something like that. It's an urban area where there's black people, but it's like I'm not gonna show you that area because as you know, our show is a 30-minute show, and I try to keep my show minimum under 30 minutes, and I'm only gonna do two parts, which is the part of Coconut Grove, and then I'm gonna do the second show is gonna be about the Barnacle House, and if I can get to it, yes, I can get to it. But yes, there is an urban area of Coconut Grove. If you happen to visit, I'm going to show you it because it is south of. It's south of Cocoa Walk, and like if you go further down south of Cocoa Walk, you're going to run into, you're going to see a couple of restaurants, and then you're going to see the urban area where they have like apartments and stuff like that, and where the black people live at, because Coconut Grove is also a mixed area. You do have condominiums and condos and high rises and stuff, and then as you go further south, you do have an urban area, and then as you pass Coconut Grove, you end up winding into Coral Gables, which is the southern, which is the city outside of Coconut Grove. Coconut Grove is not a city; it is a neighborhood, because Coconut Grove is within the city of Miami, and city of Miami is within Miami-Dade County, because there's a lot of cities in Miami-Dade County. You have Oaxaca, you have Miami Gardens, you have Hialeah, you have, of course, Coral Gables, you have, the city of Miami, stuff like that, because everybody just think Miami just within the city. No, you have cities within the city. Also, you have Pinecrest, I think I've said that. You have Cutler Bay, Saga Bay, you have a lot of cities and stuff like that. One second, it is hot out here. Of course, I have my water in my Ziploc bag, so it's still kind of cool. I only have one because I can easily purchase a drink or something here. Because, when I was at Bill Bags and I was at Virginia Key Beach, Bill Bags, I knew you could purchase at the restaurant, but I didn't want to purchase a drink at the restaurant because there was probably like $4 or $5 for a drink, and I'm like, no. For water, that's probably what it is. I'm like, no. And Bill Bags, their water, and their water fountains is probably, Virginia Key Beach, they're probably water fountains are, like park water fountains, they're hot and they're dirty, and I did buy water at at Virginia Key, but it was like, I think $1.75. I'm like, that's fine. But when I went to one of the corner stores, like, when I got on mainland, it was like $1. So I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. But yeah, I can purchase anything here. This is Coconut Grove, of course. I might find something to eat here. But overall, basically, this is like his history. So you're going to be seeing a lot of the history here. And of course, I'm going to be pausing throughout the whole show, because I'm not gonna give you a whole walking. Like from here, it's gonna take me about less than 2 minutes to get from here to the water, because the water is over there right across the way from where I'm sitting at, and there's like a little bridge that goes from one side to the water, the other side that you're gonna see. We're gonna do that, and then I'm gonna be pausing throughout the video because we're gonna be going throughout the video. I don't want to take up the whole 30 minutes walking. The same way I did with Bill Baggs, the same thing I did with Oleta River, and of course Virginia Key Beach. You're gonna see pause throughout the episode because we're not gonna take up the whole 30 minutes walking. Because if we did, we won't get through the whole show, or you won't see the whole episodes of everything. You know, this episode is just basically giving you an overall view of Key Biscayne and pre-overall view of Coconut Grove. You know, I googled Coconut Grove, and it's a great area. I'm going to give you a background of it. It's a neighborhood in Miami, Florida, of course, and I'm going to give you a little briefing of it. And it's historical. You know, a lot of notable people came out of Key Biscayne. A lot of notable people, you know what I'm saying, lived in Key Biscayne, and you know, and a lot of notable people, you know, just like Key Biscayne, there are a lot of notable people that lived in Key Biscayne. There's a lot of notable people out of Key Biscayne, but there's not a notable people that you probably would know, because like out of here, you know, Coconut Grove, there's not a lot of notable people I've known. You know, I'm gonna give you a few common points of. It says in pop culture, you know, I'm going to give you one. Dexter, you know, the TV show Dexter, the main character supposedly lived in Coconut Grove. Careless Whisper, like I said in the video for the song Careless Whisper, George Michael can be seen looking from a condominium balcony in Coconut Grove, which I don't know which one it is. You'll have to figure that out. In the movie Bad Boys, Martin Lawrence and Will Smith follow a suspect through Coconut Grove. Burn Notice, they did a Meet the Fockers. You know, there was one I was looking for. You know, All About the Benjamins was filmed at Coconut Grove. Of course, that's the video with Mike Epps and Ice Cube. Back in 2002. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of things. And notable people, you have, you know, Kirk Monroe, author of children's books, who was also Ralph Middleton Monroe, which is the man who owns the Barnacle. Let's see who's alive. Anybody that we know. Stephen Reichland, I love him. He's if you ever watch Channel 2, Create TV, PBS, you know, he's the creator of Primal Grill and stuff like that. I watch him. He's good. There's a lot of football players, a lot of Christian Slater, which is an actor. Sylvester Stallone, which he probably lived here. He probably didn't have, but he probably lived here. LeBron James, of course, I'm guessing he lived in Coconut Grove, because LeBron James is not from Coconut Grove, of course. And you know, it's the oldest neighborhood. You got Dino Key, which is where the city of Miami City Hall is at. Villa Vizcaya, you have the School of Sacred Heart, which is in 1918. The first Coconut Grove School in 1887. The Sweeney House is 1916. The Barnacle, which is 1891. There's a lot in here. There's a lot that's historical. If you want to know more about Coconut Grove, you can Google it and look it up. I'm just giving you a little, somewhat overall thing about Coconut Grove. If you like, comment at the bottom of this page. Also, email us roundtable00@yahoo.com. I'm going to get off, and we're going to start taking a walk through Coconut Grove. That's the first installment of visiting Coconut Grove, and we're going to be walking around Coconut Grove. And then the second installment, of course, we're going to be at the Barnacle, which is the state park in Coconut Grove. So get ready for the first installment of visiting Coconut Grove. This is the overall view of Key Biscayne and Coconut Grove episode. We are now going to do the first installment of visiting and walking Coconut Grove. And we're not going to visit all of Coconut Grove because, of course, Coconut Grove is a big area. And so we're going to be just doing the main parts of Coconut Grove. I'm your host, Money. I will see you in a couple of minutes. And this is the Roundtable Talk.